It's deja vu all over again for the New York Mets, and you need to take advantage of it with your daily fantasy rosters. Let's get into that now. I'm Mike Cardano with RotoExperts in the Fantasy Sports Network, and this is your Daily Fantasy Minute. Now, if you watched my segment yesterday, you know that I told you to get as many New York Mets batters in as you can, and 8 home runs by the Mets batters later, and in hindsight, the advice I gave you turned out to be godly. Now, I also told you to use Jacob deGrom, and I called you a moron if you didn't, but we don't need to talk about that. Let's let bygones be bygones. Now, the Mets faced Jerome Williams today in that same Little League field known as Citizens Bank Ballpark, and I'm expecting deja vu to happen all over again. Williams, who, and this just in, still somehow collects a major league paycheck, sports an ERA of 6.10 and lets 18.5% of the balls hit in the air fly out of the ballpark. Now, unfortunately for him, almost 54% of the balls put in play against him go in the air, and since he strikes out just 5.3 batters per 9, lots of balls are hit. The Mets have scored the most runs in baseball since the Yoenis Cespedes trade, and they've crossed the plate a surreal 49 times in their last 4 games. Now, much of this is because they've been facing awful pitching, because you notice when they faced the Pittsburgh Pirates, they got swept and they couldn't hit a lick. But in DFS, we don't care what the reason is. If the pitching stinks, the pitching stinks. We just need to recognize it. And sure, 3 of these 4 games were at Coors Field, but they put up 16 in the game not played there. Now, facing Jerome Williams is the gift that just keeps on giving for the Mets here, and you should be taking advantage of it with your daily fantasy rosters. Folks seem to hate owning Stephen Strasburg in season-long fantasy baseball. He's a pitching enigma. I guess it's because he's never really lived up to his hype. It's not much different in daily fantasy, as he's constantly low-owned versus his peers, and I expect today to be no different. But for all his early season warts, Strasburg has pitched pretty well since coming off the DL. In his last 3 outings, he's logged 20 innings, striking out 25 while giving up just 3 earned runs and walking 2. And that includes 7 innings with no earned runs in Coors Field. Now, even his full season stats don't look too bad, striking out 9.78 batters per 9. Now, what's killed Steven this year so far has been his strand rate. When he gets guys on base and pitches out of the stretch, it all starts to fall apart. But perhaps that was injury related, as that hasn't been the case since coming off the DL. Now, he's facing the Padres, who rank at the bottom third of the league against right-handed pitching in both striking out and weighted on base average. And with his $10,000 price tag on both big sites being off the pace from today's other big pitching options, I find Stephen Strasburg to be both an intriguing cash game and tournament option today. Now, for more expert insight and extraordinary perspective on the world of daily fantasy, head on over to dailyroto.com or keep it right here in Fantasy Sports Network. Good luck today, everyone. I'm Mike Cardano, and this has been your Daily Fantasy Minute.